The top scoring wideout of week 8, your boy. The Oregon connection is strong between Troy Franklin and Bo Nix. So Troy Franklin, 37% owned, coming off a game where he had 8 targets, 6 catches, 89 yards, 2 touchdowns, doubling his touchdown production for the season.
Yep.
Let's talk about the guys right around his tier and go up from there, starting with, this one hurts me, 47% owned, Darnell Mooney, Atlanta Falcons. Do you want Darnell? Do you want Troy on your fantasy team?
Preseason, I'm taking Mooney. At this point in the year, not even close. I'm taking Franklin here. I don't know what happened to the production from last year because it seemed to be there whether it was Penix or Kirk Cousins. So that hasn't really changed. But clearly something's off in that offense. Cousins looked atrocious yesterday. So I mean, are we in a situation now where if Penix isn't under center, like we can't count on anybody from the Falcons, including Bijan Robinson? That was horrific yesterday. So no. Give me Franklin all day here. It's not even a question.
Yeah, it's been weird to see how the Falcons' offense has sorted itself out, and it was nice to see Kyle Pitts getting used more like around the line of scrimmage. That freed up Mooney to be that deep threat, except no one can get him the ball now. And, of course, it's going to be Penix slinging the shots downfield because Kirk Cousins couldn't complete a pass to the sideline last week. He doesn't look like himself. It looks like he'll never be Kirk Cousins again.
No.
You just can't trust Darnell Mooney. The injuries have been too much lately. He only has 1, maybe 2 decent games on the season so far. And one of them was 3 catches for 63 yards. The upside isn't there. The floor isn't there. He's got to go. Troy Franklin is in.
Yeah.
Next man up, a former teammate of Troy Franklin and Bo Nix at Oregon, Tez Johnson, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, 52% owned. Do you want Tez Johnson or Troy Franklin on your roster?
This is a tough one because I honestly like both these guys, but I'm going to stick with Franklin here.
Okay.
Simply because the targets haven't really been sorted out in Tampa Bay. They've kind of been in flux ever since especially with the Mike Evans injury, but even before that, we were kind of seeing week to week. All right, Ibuka's getting a bunch, and now it's Evans this week. So, you also have to keep an eye out for Cade Otton because he seems to be a favorite target of Baker Mayfield's, when Evans isn't available. So you still got Ibuka, you still have Otton, Sterling Shepard is still there. So, I mean, at this point, I think Franklin has less competition. So I'll stick with Franklin here. It's awful close, though.
Yeah, I feel like they're in similar positions, right? You have a deep receiving core where you don't really know who's going to step up and lead the team any given week. Now, obviously, if everyone's healthy in Tampa Bay, it's a different situation. Same thing with Cortland Sutton with the Broncos, but things fluctuate. And I don't think you can ever count on the Buccaneers wide receiving core being fully healthy again. So that does work in Tez Johnson's favor. Here's a guy I was a little bit worried about because he's a sprightly little dude, right? He's 5'10", 160 pounds. You think no way that holds up in the NFL, but this guy who played 62 college games, he was prolific. He got the ball. He made things happen after the catch. I think in this case, just because things have been so volatile for Denver, where you can have a guy like Marvin Mims show up and have 90 receiving yards and then fade away, or Troy Franklin shows up and he gets 11 targets, but he only catches 3 of them. I think I want a little bit more consistency, and that's what Tampa Bay has to offer with Baker Mayfield. However, like you said, man, it's real close. Okay, finally.
Keep in mind, Mims got hurt yesterday as well.
Oh, good point.
So Marvin Mims might be out for a little while. That might open things up a little bit more for Franklin as well.
Oh, your cousin Marvin Mims? All right, finally, another one that hurts and another Broncos connection. Jerry Jeudy, Cleveland Browns, currently still 70% owned despite the 2025 season in general for Cleveland. So, Yaj, do you want Troy Franklin on your team, or are you sticking with Jerry Jeudy, hoping for that revival?
No, I'm gonna go with Franklin here. I think,
wow.
Have you seen it from Jeudy this year for the most part? I mean, now he's got a quarterback that they don't let throw farther than 5 yards downfield. So it's not like, we didn't really see much from Gabriel. So, again, I just don't think the Browns are going to provide enough for Jerry Jeudy to really do much here. They seem to be way more run heavy This year. At least last year they were chucking the ball over the yard. This year they're not even doing that. And again, I'll take Franklin. And I do want to point out one little thing about Franklin. Most people might not realize this. He's actually their top red zone target for their receivers. It's not Cortland Sutton. So Franklin, he's not getting as much general usage throughout the game the way Cortland Sutton is, but he's getting more targets in the end zone. Stats I have is 14 to 12. He's got more red zone receptions, 9 to 8. Yardage goes to Sutton slightly, 54 to 48. And then again, touchdowns 4 to 3 in the red zone for Franklin. So he's actually being utilized slightly more than Cortland Sutton is. So just to note that this is not my affinity for him is not just coming blindly out of nowhere because I like the number 11 on the Broncos. So there is some statistics that are backing this up.
So one thing I worry about there is that teams will flip eventually because Troy Franklin's red zone target share is about a third of all Bo Nix's red zone targets. Cortland Sutton about half that because Cortland Sutton is Cortland Sutton. He's going to get double teamed. It's a compressed field, so the safety's always going to be over his side. I think over time, Troy Franklin is going to be seeing those double teams. That's going to shut him down a little bit. But as we saw in week 8, the targets are still there. Defenses haven't figured it out yet. You want to run with that. For me, though, man, I can't give up Jerry Jeudy. Last year, after week 8, he puts up a 1,600-yard pace, right? Over 10 games. 10 games. And he wasn't playing with good quarterbacks. He was playing with Jameis Winston. He was playing with Dorian Thompson-Robinson. He was playing with Bailey, by God, Zappe. We're Patriots fans. We know what that's like. It's not good. But Jerry Jeudy still went out there and performed. He got it done. So when things go haywire, which has been the entire freaking season for these Cleveland Browns, I think Judy's going to be the guy who steps up and either loses his mind and gets thrown off the team for threatening to murder Dylan Gabriel, or he demands the ball and he gets it because who else is going to come through in that lineup besides David Njoku and apparently Harold Fannin Jr.